What's up, guys? It's me, TB, and the time has finally come. Season 4 of My Hero Academia is finally here, and we're here with episode 64, The Scoop on UA Class 1A. It's amazing, it's great, this feeling of like just having something to watch, especially having, read the manga. It's been a whole entire year, over a year actually, I think, since we have any new content for the anime. We've had the movie, we've had the video game, new chapters has come out, but we're finally here, we're ready. And one thing that I want to talk about before we actually get into the episode today is that it is a recap of sorts. It's a filler. There's not anything actually advancing the story or the plot in this episode. But if you want to get back into, get back into what's going on, where they left off. If you want to read, I would start with volume number 14 right here. This is the best place to start. I think it starts off when Bakugo and Midoriya are fighting. But if you wanted to read, I would start with volume 14. Just letting you know, we're going to talk about what happens here, but, it's not anything that I feel like you need to see. It's a great episode. I liked it, but, it didn't have anything to do with the villains or anything like that. Also, in the very beginning of the episode, there's when I'm going to start talking about the episode now. We have a new intro, of course, and we have a new outro. I'm going to make a video on that tomorrow. So here we're just talking about episode 64. They mentioned David Shield right in the beginning of the episode. There's this agency that's covering All Might because the biggest thing that's happened in Hero Society recently is All Might's retired. All Might fought All for One, and obviously he won that fight, although it didn't seem like the fight is really 100% finished, but you get what I'm saying. He won it. All for One is in jail, and they're like, what's gonna happen now that the symbol of peace is gone? He's retired, and they mention David Shield. Now, if you've just been watching the anime and you haven't seen the movie and you haven't read the manga, you don't know a thing about who David Shield is or All Might's past. So you should actually pick up the movie if you haven't seen the movie yet. More about this at the end of the video. I have something special for y'all. Hopefully y'all appreciate it. But just a little bit of a notice there. They talk about him like we're supposed to know who he is, but if you've only watched the anime, you won't know who he is. So we're at this, a reporting agency. They're trying to figure out what's the best thing to put out there. They want to focus on All Might, and then Tokada, the person who is really the best reporter that they got, is talking about when All Might was retiring, right when he won that battle, he said, "You're next." And they're like, "You're next," meaning the villains that he's coming after or next? He's like, no, he's talking about who is gonna take up the mantle of the symbol of peace next. And he's like, I think that he's already found who's next. He's already found the person he's about to train who's gonna be the next symbol of peace. He's like, but UA has been under strict surveillance. They have it on lockdown. Obviously, they want to keep the students safe, and they're like, don't worry. We're going to try to find a way to get in there to make sure that you can get the information that you need so we can get the scoop that we want. So he goes in there. He gets permission from Eraserhead. Obviously, Eraserhead is a little bit worrisome about what this guy is trying to do. He didn't seem like a bad dude outright anyway. He doesn't seem like a villain or anything. He's just going in there to report. We don't really know too much about him from the rip. But yeah, he's going in there, he's basically just taking pictures of all the students. It looks pretty cool. He's just capturing their everyday life, you know what I mean? Maybe sometimes they use their quirk, just, they could be exercising, eating food. There's some really good pictures in here. They're really good. And also, it's a good way to introduce us to the Class 1A once again. They go through the whole entire roster, all 20-some students, and it's cool. Obviously, here I focus on Tokiyami, Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya, because those are, the top three, I fear. I think in Class 1A, he focuses on what he's seen up to this point. He talks about when Midoriya tried to save Bakugo in the very beginning of the first series. He talks about going to see the Pussycats because of what happened in the training arc when they were in the forest. He even talks about what happens with Midoriya when he's fighting against Muscular, when he tried to save Koda. Like, this guy, this reporter knows a lot. He knows his stuff. So he's like, I'm going in here, I'm going to figure out who it is. And he has this internal monologue that he's not sharing with anyone else. And he pretty much quickly, because he only has a couple hours to be at the school, figures out that it's Midoriya. It's crazy. So he goes and he talks and he thinks, how am I supposed to figure this out? How am I supposed to get concrete proof, concrete evidence? Obviously, he's sneaking around. He happens to see Midoriya with All Might. They have that conversation. He says, you're next, but not just you. All of you. Your whole entire generation, you are next. You are up. You are the ones who are supposed to be the next symbol. All of you together, not just Midoriya. And I feel like that really is the vibe I've been getting ever since All Might has retired. He's focusing on training Midoriya, yes, because he has one for all. But it's all of them together, becoming all pro heroes together. They're not just focusing on Midoriya alone. And this is when the reporter has a conversation with Midoriya after he's finished talking with All Might. And he's like, do you remember the disaster that happened a couple years ago with the fire? In the very first episode of My Hero Academia, we see Midoriya watching this home video. All Might's like, there's nothing to fear. You know why? Because I'm here. He's carrying people on his back through this fire. That's what he's talking about. Apparently, this reporter's dad was in that fire, and he saved him, and that's why he is really thankful to All Might. And in that moment, you know, when they say quirks usually manifest when you're young, around 4 or 5 years old, that's when his quirk manifests. And he took a picture without even noticing it. He didn't have a camera, and that's because this dude's quirk is literally just camera lenses coming out of his body. It's crazy. He can take pictures whenever he wants to. He doesn't need to actually have a physical camera there with him. So this dude's quirk is pretty cool, actually. It's perfect for the job that he has. He could be a detective, he could be a reporter, he could be a secret agent, he could be a lot of stuff. So, and he's like, I'm not going to share this information with other people out there. I just wanted to know for myself that when I talk about the future of our society, when I talk about the heroes, that there's hope. There's hope out there. Thank you for giving me hope. I see that he's training you. I see that you're the next symbol of peace. You know, he specifically wants to focus on Midoriya. And then he takes a picture with Midoriya. He's like, I got a little selfie here, you know. Eventually he's planning to like release a book about like when the next symbol of peace was young. And that's pretty cool, you know. Midoriya feels the weight of what it feels like finally to have, you know, one for all. No, there's certain times where he's felt it before, you know, like when he saved Koda or when he was trying to save Bakugo, you know, from the situation he was in with the villains. It's a really good episode with a lot of good elements in there. Obviously, this didn't happen in the manga, but it's totally fine because it invigorates his passion, I feel like, to try even harder to make sure that he masters his power. And we're going to see him do that, obviously. There's so much good stuff coming this season. At the end of the episode, he goes back to his agency, Mr. Tokada, and he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't get the information that you wanted me to get, but I got All Might eating a meat bun, and they're like, oh, this is so cute, we can use this. And it's like, they kind of really forget why he went there in the first place, and it sort of reinforces the fact that he kept his promise. He's not a bad dude. He's not out to expose Midoriya's secret. He's not out to give him all this publicity. He just wanted to know for himself that there's someone there out there, you know, looking after him, being trained for the future. And it's cool. So the next episode is called Overhaul. Obviously, it's going to focus on Overhaul. People who only watch the anime right now don't really know too much about him. They showed him in episode 64, back when season 3 ended. Dude's a badass. Alright, get ready to see some freaking savage stuff come from this dude. But, like I said before, I was talking about the movie. I wanted to let you guys know I had something. I got the movie a while back, but I have this here. So, I'll put the code up real quick on the screen. Anyone who wants to have it, basically you get a digital copy of the movie. If you haven't seen it, or if you just want to own it, there you go. I'm glad to give it away. I already had the physical copy, so I feel like why would I need the digital copy? Right now, I'm playing through My Hero Academia, the game, One's Justice, on my Twitch. So if you want to go watch that, that'd be cool. I'm also doing videos on My Hero Vigilantes right now. I believe I have 1, 2, and 3 out. It goes up to volume 6. So if you're interested in the side story and the spin-off Vigilantes, I appreciate you check out those videos. More videos are coming. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Talk in the comments about what you're looking forward to seeing this season. Please, no spoilers, obviously. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next week. Bye. Get hyped. Get hyped, boy. Get hyped. Some cool stuff is coming.